Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unboxed with Joe, where we talk stories on the cuff on topics we don't run away from. The podcast where we unpack real stories from real people. Whether you're tuning in from work, at home, or abroad, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm sharing something very close to my heart, my journey. From finding my identity as a young girl in Baguio City, Philippines, to building my dreams in America, to carving a space for myself in kitchens across the world, and eventually being the first chef to represent the Philippines at the IKA Culinary Olympics. This is a story behind the voice you hear today. It's a journey filled with sacrifices, resilience, small victories, and dreams that refuse to die even when everything felt impossible. I invite you to walk with me through every chapter. Let's get unboxing. I grew up in Baguio City, Philippines. Life was simple, but not without its challenges. From an early age, I was already searching for who I was and where I truly belonged. My mom worked hard, very hard. She became the breadwinner, not just for our small family, but for many others around us. Because she was always working, I spent a lot of times being cared for by my grandmother. There were days I wondered, what would life be if I had a complete family? But even then, I learned that sometimes love shows up differently. Through sacrifices, we don't always see it right away. When I was about 7 years old, my stepdad came into our lives. I call him dad now because that's who he became. He never made us feel like we were less than his own. And thanks to him, a door opened that would later change everything in my life. When I was given the chance to migrate to the United States, I knew it was an opportunity I couldn't waste. I left behind everything familiar: family, friends, the place that shaped me, to chase something bigger than myself. I arrived in America, Seattle, Washington to be exact, full of dreams and a lot of fear. The culture shock was real, the loneliness even more so. But I kept telling myself, you are here for a reason. I worked hard, harder than I thought I could. At one point, I was juggling 3 jobs just to survive. There was even a plan to join the military, but life had other plans for me. Instead, I found myself carving a different path, one that would eventually lead me to my true passion. I started working in the hospitality industry at the front of the house, as a hostess, then as a waitress. But it was when I peeked into the kitchen that something lit up inside me. The kitchen had its own world, a rhythm, a language, a sense of creation I had never seen before. Watching chefs create masterpieces from raw ingredients felt like witnessing a magic. Before moving to the US, I studied nursing, but I realized quickly it wasn't for me. I became too emotionally attached to patients, and when they passed away, it broke me in ways I didn't know how to handle. In the kitchen, though, I could heal differently. Through food, through creativity, through resilience. I decided to go back to school, this time for restaurant management operations and culinary arts at Clover Park Technical College in Lakewood, Washington. But life didn't get easier. I was raising my daughter as a single mom, juggling full time in school and working four jobs. Morning were for school, afternoons were for my job as a health and wellness programmer. Nights were split between bartending and working in kitchens, starting as a dishwasher, then a prep cook. I started from the very bottom. I remember my chef instructor, Chef Dean Massey, always reminding me to respect everyone in the kitchen, from the dishwasher to the executive chef. Every role matters. That stayed with me. And even during the days I was barely sleeping, barely surviving, I held into my dreams. Graduating from culinary school didn't mean immediate success. It meant starting over again, proving myself in a male dominated, often unforgiving industry. As a woman, I had to work twice, sometimes three times as hard to be respected. Racism was real, too. There were kitchens where no matter how skilled you were treated differently just because of who you were and where you came from. But I refuse to let those walls define me. For the next 15 years, I built my career inside corporate kitchens in Seattle. The long hours, the pressure, the never ending demand to be perfect. Every day, I woke up with a goal: survive another shift and prove myself again. I climbed my way up, but every step forward came with sacrifice no one saw. After 12, sometimes 16-hour shifts, I would come home to an empty apartment. My daughter, my heart, was back home in the Philippines being raised with the help of my parents. Every night, I came home to silence. No footsteps, no laughter, no bedtime kisses. Just me and the weight of the choices I made for a better future. There were nights I questioned everything: whether I was a good mother, whether the cost was too high. But I kept going, because if I stopped, then all the pain, all the absence, all the sacrifices would be for nothing. After 15 years of giving everything to Seattle, I knew I needed change. I moved to Maui, hoping the oceans would heal parts of me the city had been broken. I worked again in corporate kitchen, a beautiful resort environment, but the same battles followed. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever lived, actually. But even paradise has its own shadows. I worked in unionized hotel and saw firsthand how territorial some work environments could be. If you weren't part of the union culture, you weren't protected. Change was difficult. Progress was slow. It taught me patience and resilience all over again. Gender inequality, racism, resistance to change. Even in paradise, kitchens demanded everything. After a year in Maui, I moved to Oahu. Another year, another corporate kitchen. I worked hard, kept my head down, and fought for respect again and again. Sometimes you move across oceans thinking you'll leave the struggles behind, only to find it follows you inside. One day I realized I didn't come this far to just keep surviving. I was ready to build something of my own. Then, when Wow Baguio was born, a business inspired by my roots, by the strengths of the mountains where I came from, it was terrifying. It was exhilarating. It was mine. Life led me once again to start over. This time in Germany. New language, new culture, new loneliness. There are days when I know exactly what I wanted to say, but the words don't come. There are moments I feel small again, unseen, unheard. But I've learned that growth happens most in places you feel uncomfortable. And day by day, I'm building a new home here too. In 2024, I stood on a global stage at the IKA Culinary Olympics, the first to represent the Philippines. No big sponsors, no glamorous team. Just me, my husband, and our belief that even one person can carry a nation's dream. I faced sabotage. I faced doubt. But I also faced the fire inside me. And I became the first Filipina woman to represent my country solo. That moment, that fight, no one can ever take away. Looking back now, I realized every empty home, every tear in silence, every lonely birthday, every plate served perfectly under pressure, they all built the woman speaking to you now. The woman who knows her truth and the woman who knows her worth. The woman who knows that even broken beginnings can build the strongest dreams. Thank you for walking through my journey with me today. If there's anything I hope you take from my story, it's this. Your struggles do not make you weak. Your sacrifices do not make you any less. Your journey, no matter how painful, is worth unboxing. Thank you for being part of Unbox with Joe. Until next time, keep believing, keep building, and keep unboxing your own strength and the real you.